o'clock. Do we have any public comments?
Wait, we're not, she's not. Tell us when we're on.
I'm just starting the recording early, just in case something goes wrong. And something always goes wrong.
I heard a recording in progress notice.
Okay, so we'll call a meeting to order. Do we have any public comments? There's no one in the audience, so do we have any online? Nothing online. All right, everyone got a copy of the minutes in the email? Did everyone have a chance to read the minutes? Anyone have any corrections to the minutes? Hearing nothing, I'll ask for a motion.
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All righty. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay.
Aye.
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 Aye. All right, minutes were approved. So we need a brief update from the July 25th celebration work group. You're up, Mr. Alex.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. We are a little more than a month away from the event on July 23rd. Things are coming together nicely, and our working group had a meeting earlier this week to go over details and finalize plans. I'll kick it over to Janet first to run through some items, and then we can add on anything else from any other members.
We have confirmed that we're gonna have celebration on the 23rd, Wednesday from 4 to 7. Anybody who's able to help put together the celebration is welcome to join at 1 p.m. or after, anytime after 1, because other folks will show up at 4. We are going to get a cake from Trey and flowers from Trey, contacts he's made. And Alex has secured Coca-Cola, and Mika, who's not able to be here today, has gotten sandwiches. If we find out or if we perceive that we're gonna need more food than that, Charleston County Parks and Recreation will supplement that. So if y'all hear about a lot of people coming or something, please let me know. We don't have really an RSVP process, and we have encouraged everyone to come who possibly can. But if we need more food than food we have 60 sandwiches and we have 150 slices of cake. But we have 10 cases of soft drinks. So if we need more than that, I'd love it if you would just drop me a line, tell me there's gonna be more necessary. We have our speakers set up to speak at 5:30. And what am I missing?
The flyer and information.
Oh, the flyer. I'll send out the flyer the first part of the week. That'll be the final flyer. And when I send it to y'all, if you will, please feel free to share it with anyone, any support groups you're part of, anybody you know, schools, that sort of thing. Because we do want to encourage the building of community through this effort. And then we're going to, as people come into the event, we're going to ask them if we may have their name and email address to stay in touch with them for the future about the community concept. And I think that's about it. Is there anything else? We had a lot of picky little details that we've been hammering out for a while, but it seems to be boiling down pretty nicely.
How are you
Y'all
doing?
have
How are you doing on tables and chairs?
How many what?
How are you doing on tables and chairs?
Oh, we've got good tables and chairs. We're gonna set out about half of what we're able to use. And that will end up being 60 single chairs, 4 72-inch round tables, and about 8 rectangular 6-foot tables. So, and then we'll have, of course, some portion of our guests, like Alex and Ron, will come with their own chairs. So we will set it up with the idea of having accessibility between the aisles too. What?
Mess around.
Oh, so does that make sense, Bonnie? Okay, anything else I'm forgetting?
Think
Is
that's
it only sandwiches or will there be a side like fruit or salad or pretzels?
I'm so sorry, Maria. I'm gonna have to have hearing aids soon.
That's
Repeat,
okay.
if you will, please.
Sure. Is it only sandwiches? Will there be a side like fruit or salad or pretzels to go with the sandwiches?
We haven't talked about that. Do you think that's a good idea, Maria?
At least one thing, even if it's simply pretzels. But yeah, if we could get some fruit trays or side salad,
Okay.
that would have been great.
We can do that.
And I mean, it can be like the little small, little mini side serving of fruit trays, even would have been great.
Yeah,
Yeah, the thing with fruit trays, either they get cleaned out or they get hardly touched. It's crazy.
interesting. Okay, I will look at to see what we can find along those lines. Thank you, I appreciate it. And we can also, well, we can pick up snacky kind of things too. But we don't want granola bars with sandwiches, so pretzels is actually a good idea. Thank you.
Right.
I think that's all from my perspective.
Sounds good. Thinking everybody else who's on the working group sort of has spoken, so I think that's good. That's all I have for the update on the celebration.
Sounds good.
Does anybody have any
Well,
other questions?
Alex, did you want to talk about the media part of it?
Yes, thank you, Michelle. I already forgot, yeah.
Oops.
Michelle and I have been communicating and we've been working on contacting media and we've have a date for Live 5 News to do an interview on July 16th at noon. And then
Mhm.
Michelle is working on getting Fox 24 and Channel 2, and I'm working on Channel 4 with Low Country Live. So anything else I needed to add, Michelle?
Nope, that was it. That's what we're working on thus far.
All right, thank you for that update.
Mhm.
Over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So moving right along. The next item is the discussion of items of importance in the commission's effort to deliver information about ADA resources and information to merchants on King Street. That is a mouthful. What we envision doing is getting some folks, preferably folks in chairs.
That's discrimination.
Yes, ma'am, it is. I admit that, but what I would like is a person in a chair and a person not in a chair. And the idea is that we'll go down King Street and, you know, it's kind of warm here until like December. So I'd like a lot of participation doing that. The idea is to go down King Street and hit every store and every restaurant. And A, see if we can get in. B, see if we can use the bathrooms. And C, give whoever's in charge of that facility that day a flyer that has what they ought to be doing for ADA.
That'd be great. We actually did that when I was on this committee back in like 2004 or 5, Janet, with Mike and all of us. We pretty much did the whole store and restaurant area of King Street. So it'll be great to see what 20 years later the progress.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the idea. You know, people say, let's go eat. And the first thing I do, I don't do it, my wife does it, calls to see how accessible it is. And I'm kind of shocked at the number of places that aren't very accessible.
Oh
Or at least
yeah.
on the phone, they say they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Annette, you're up.
Yeah, I'm just listening to this conversation and going along King Street, checking out entrances and bathrooms and stuff. That seems to be a really good place where some media walk along might be helpful.
Yes.
Yeah, I think media would be great to have along there. As we define the route and where we're gonna go, we can make sure the media can ride along with us.
Yeah, that's an excellent idea. I don't think people really know.
I think it's Trey.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree. And Janet and I were talking briefly about this, and I think like even if there's some sort of sticker or flyer we can give to them after checking in, to if someone, I get if someone does have a ramp or is accessible and it's just not obvious. If their accessibility is not obvious, or they do say they're going to get a ramp and make this happen, just to put in their window that, hey, we're accessible, ask us, even if it's not obvious when you roll up, I think would be a useful end goal of these places, or a marker at the end, I guess.
Yeah, that's a very good point. The T-Bones West Ashley has an elevated seating area. But they actually have a ramp. If you show up, they'll put it there so you can go up in there and sit.
Yeah,
So-
we've had several of our spinal cord injury meetings there. However, it was horrible because they do not have a wheelchair accessible bathroom. Neither does SNS cafeteria across the street.
Oh, wow.
That's-
Mhm.
Wow.
I know on the idea of putting something on their window or sticker, over the years, other organizations have tried to do that, and there's been
Mhm.
some pushback on that. I don't know if Janet could elaborate a little bit more on that.
Well, we had, over the years, indeed,
Mhm.
we have talked about putting stickers up that were saying things like that the place was accessible. And I think that became rather subjective. So if
It
we
did.
if the place has a step and we put a sticker, or we offer to them a sticker that says, knock and ask me about a portable ramp, then that's not certifying anything.
Right. And the other
It will
problem with
still
that,
have to
when
go
we,
through my legal department.
exactly. And the
And
other thing with that we faced before, Jan, if you can remember, like we said, it might be accessible for us to get in, but back then it was like, okay, they don't have optional menus and different things for different people with disabilities. So that's where the battle came in, why we decided against it
Oh,
before.
yeah.
Like, that's such an awesome idea, but people are like, well, you can get in, but it doesn't work for us, especially when you get down to the restaurants and the menus and restrooms and everything else details.
That's
I
a good
mean,
point.
it's an awesome idea, but we weren't able yet to find a way to work around that unless we use like the ADAG checklist.
right, and so this won't be as to the letter as the ADAG is. This will be
Right.
simply to encourage the people, any guests to knock. If you see a step, you're encouraged to knock and
Exactly.
ask the proprietor for if they have a ramp, and the little sticker will indicate they will
Yes.
have a ramp.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be some peer pressure for the ones that don't too.
Right. Even if it's a simple come on in, a simple like showing a disability logo or whichever logo, and have like come on in and let you know, okay, you're welcome there, and they're going to go out of their way to do whatever.
That's a good point too. Okay. I was going to see if we could get the portable ramp people to fund the stickers. So, but you're right, Maria.
I was even, also in addition to that, like, could the sticker or whatever the emblem is, just say that, saying, I don't know if we could say we are accessible, ask for assistance, is that,
Maybe. I will literally have to pass this by the lawyers.
because at the same, like, even though they're accessible, it's not accessible enough to be able to get in without asking for help.
Right.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
of a,
What, can I ask a question? What are some of the more accessible places on King Street? What are some,
Michael,
does
what are
any
some of the more accessible places on King Street?
businesses on King Street?
Well, I mean, without
Okay.
having done a comprehensive analysis of everything, you know, it's
Just
just a
anecdotal.
mix of, yeah, I mean, there's, you know, plenty of places without a barrier to entry and that are
Mhm.
able to roll in, but there are places without, I mean, with a barrier. So one
Mhm.
that always comes to mind is a restaurant that is doing it right, or just a business that is doing it right, is 167 Raw, where they have ramps available. They you know, been hanging outside or looking to go in, and they bring the ramp out, no problem. Like it's no sweat off their back to make
Mhm.
to get you in there, and and yeah, with the ramp and all that. And they have three the company has three different restaurants. There's one on King Street, 167 Raw. There's one off Fulton Street, the bar 167, and then the 167 Sushi, which everyone seems like almost just, yep, bring out the ramp. It's not a problem at all.
Oh.
So I've always pointed to them as doing it correct. Like I've never really had a problem there. So
Exactly, because it's almost like Magnolia's, even though not on King Street, over on Eaton did the same thing as well. They used to have a
yeah,
portable ramp down their alley, so you had to fight for your life going down the cobblestone to get to it. So now when you see Magnolia's, they come straight out and they put the ramp right in the front door.
yeah,
That's good to
And
hear.
that
I
would be
didn't know they
helpful.
changed that. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh
If
yeah,
we
that
can
was a
just
big deal.
encourage more places to follow that model,
Mm-hmm.
as much as we can, that would be helpful to that extent. But
Right.
I don't
It may
recall
be that
167.
whatever, hey Trey,
Hey,
it may be also that whatever like TV station gives us time on before the celebration, perhaps they're the ones who get to accompany us down King Street if they want.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
I have two quick things. When you check with legal, make sure that they're not gonna get all upset about us doing this. And I hate to say this, but we don't want to limit it to King Street.
Right.
We want King Street to be week 1 and 4 weeks later do Meeting Street or whatever. But we want to hit as many places as we can. And has the Marina Variety Store fixed their elevator?
No.
Nope.
No. I have started a little bit of a list of how to break up King Street too, because it is exhausting. And Michael Drohan has agreed to be the chairman of this work group so that he's got
Thank you, Michael.
he's got some ideas for or what to call it. I don't, he and I spoke last week sometime. And have you had any further development, your thoughts there, Michael?
I will have some ideas too of what to call it that I have excited to release to you all in a future date. But yeah,
There
I
you
know, I
go.
basically know, yeah, we're not there yet.
Bonnie,
Baby
some of the places, so some of the places that are accessible are the new shops south of Queen Street that are on the right.
Mhm.
And some of those had a sloping entrance, and so they put in automatic door openers. So you
Right.
can push it out from the King Street side, it opens the door and you can go up an appropriate ramp. So
And
there are a
again,
couple,
Yeah.
sorry.
go ahead. I was gonna say, and again, not focusing just on the peninsula.
We can go wherever, wherever y'all want to go. Do you have a suggestion, Lonnie?
I mean, has anybody looked at Daniel Island recently? Or, I mean, gosh, the city of Charleston goes on to Johns Island, James Island. Just so many different areas where,
I feel like things outside of the peninsula are a little bit better in terms of not having to get in. But
then I think it's important to mention that. Yeah. And just I would gear it more in a positive, here's the best practice. This is what we really like. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, we definitely want to set an example. And even though Jane's not here right now, part of what the flyer would include would be service animals. When you're required to let service animals in. And that flyer won't be something we have written. That flyer will be directly from the access board. So we're just going to give them a copy of what we know where to find. And I think, so if we had Marka in her chair with a service animal, that would be good too, if she's able to join us on that occasion. Any other thoughts?
All right.
None.
If there's nothing else, we'll let Janet go next
if
with,
somebody's
I-
talking.
What's up,
Well,
Michelle?
I was just gonna say that I know we're focusing on the wheelchair accessibility. However, one of the things that I have noticed is some restaurants have braille menus, or they have large print, whereas majority do not. And a lot of the waitresses or waiters get very annoyed when they really have to help a person that is low vision or blind. And I think that's one of the disabilities that also should be included, only because a lot of elderly or older people do frequent these establishments that have eye conditions, like glaucoma or cataracts or AMD, different things that prevent them from being able to really see.
And that's
So
what I
if
was
it's
mentioning before. The exact same thing. That's why we didn't go with the sticker before, because it was like us in wheelchairs. It was like, but that's only limited to like one physical type of disability. There was a lot of people that Braille isn't used as much now. When I talked to the commission of the blind and everything, but even like the large print menus and everything, those are much needed. So that's why we decided against the stickers before. So that's how we would need those checklists to make sure we're not just including people in wheelchairs or people with walkers, to make sure it's including those different types of disabilities like that.
right. And I think when you do focus honestly, on the wheelchair, I think that's definitely going to also help those that are, like you just said, with walkers or that are using regular walking canes, and also including us that use our white canes. So those types of things will definitely be beneficial for us because, as well as those with the wheelchairs. But I was thinking in terms also of those menus because I have been to, and I can't remember which one, but a restaurant that had Braille menu in the back as well as the large print in the front.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just an awesome, awesome experience. Now, I will say, and I think that's Hyman's. Is that Hyman's Seafood that's downtown?
That was one of them. They used to
Um,
have it before. Mm-hmm.
Yes, they did not have it when I went not too long ago.
Nope.
However, the service was excellent. And so I belong to a blind group. And what we did was we informed them ahead of time that we were coming to see if they would be open to assisting and understanding what type of assistance would be needed for blind and low vision individuals, and they were very happy to do so.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent service on that front. So even if that sticker, when it says accessible, I don't know. I don't know how fancy this sticker is going to be, how large or whatever, but maybe it can also include something that symbolizes the blind community as well, whether it's a
Mm-hmm.
person with a cane or whether a person with a guide dog or just something letting them know it's, wheelchair as well as the, blind.
I've got those notes. Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Hyman's is very accommodating as well too. Hyman's, we had probably about a dozen of us just in wheelchairs in there before. And we didn't even know, like from the Charleston Place area, you can access the ramp, and they had us all sitting upstairs, which was way more room than sitting in the clustered area downstairs. I would have never known
Oh,
there was
yeah,
an
it
area to
is.
even sit upstairs. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they were on it. So I was just thinking about that label, that sticker, if it can include some of that. And like I said, even if they don't have those accessible menus, just having staff that, like y'all
Mm-hmm.
said before, is willing to help and assist.
Right.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we're giving out the flyer, is so that everything's covered. And I'm sure that Michael's gonna put together a little checklist for us to use as we go down the street, checking these places. And when we get closer to doing that and we work up that checklist, uh, then we can make sure we can't check everything. But we can check the stuff that is easier to check. We can't go in there and measure bathrooms and all that, but we can go in there and see if we can get in a bathroom. We can go in there and see if we can get in a restaurant and see if we can actually move around. Um, you know, sometimes they want you to sit in a place and you can't get there without 14 people moving out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, anything else? Moving along. You're up, Janet.
Okay, first I want to say thanks, y'all. We need all the input, so put it in the back of your head, keep it sloshing around for a little bit. So that we end up with a real good product at the end. Last December, we talked about what we'd like to do in 2025. And we talked about, hold on. We talked about doors being automated. We talked about accessibility at certain parks, and we're working on that, but that's kind of still weird. We have parking lots that need some addressing. We had the service dog information that needed addressing. Daisy wanted us to check into 1069 King Street. And then we had another list of addresses that we needed to look at. So those swimming pools are part of it. And I've got 3 different lists here because some of that we took to city council and some we didn't. But I'm here to tell you that what we've accomplished so far is that we have an assistant or an ADA helper, an ADA assistant we've drawn up a job description and they're going to see about funding that for next year. It is, they've established the level of pay and things like that. We'll see if that works. Everybody knock on wood wherever you are.
Mhm.
We talked about filling the commission. We have 2 spots that are open. We're looking into that now. We talked about training right-of-way inspectors. I created a document and the chair for that department, Tim Keene, has said that he would be happy for me to train new hires for right-of-way inspecting. I've met with Charleston County Voting and County Tech Advisory Committee and the Safety Tech Advisory Committee just to keep getting the word out there, if you will. The accessibility for Hampton Park is apparently accomplished. For capital projects, we've had the door openers for all city buildings looked at. So we're trying to put that into the budget for 2026. This building, the Gilliard, we've looked at the doors as recommended by commissioners. There are probably 6 different doors. There might be more. They are not cheap. They are expensive to do. So we're gonna have to look at then how to do some this year and some next year. But we've got them all inspected and we've inspected the door openers for parks.
Now, we can use accommodation tax money for all that.
You can't even know how little they let me have anything to say about the accommodation tax money.
I know, I had the argument with the previous mayor.
Okay, it was recommended, moving right along, it was recommended that we ask the Gilliard, since we're still talking about the Gilliard, to put chairs in the dress circle level. And as of today, I have pictures of chairs at the dress circle level. That has been accomplished. And I don't know how to show people on Zoom the chairs, but
You wanna send them to me really quickly? Then I can do screen share.
I don't know how to do it
Okay.
at the moment. It's on my computer, and so,
Yeah, just email it to everybody.
okay, that's what I'll do. I'll just email it. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Janet. That was much needed.
Well, when I found the guy that was in charge of it, he'd never heard about it, Bonnie,
Hmm.
which tells me that nobody had told him a thing. I think that's all for this building. Ted has to make a list. The pools are in process. We have a sign going in at the White Point Garden to direct people to go to the accessible entry. There are steps at the corner of South Battery and East Bay. So we've got a sign going in there. We had talked about the accessibility to Waterfront Park on the south end. It turns out that the Army Corps of Engineers is going to run whatever they do past the south end. So we need to wait and see whatever the Army Corps of Engineers have going for that one. The southeast corner of Calhoun and Cumming, there has been no change. That corner was one of the corners that Marka was unhappy about. It is a state corner and I can't seem to get that changed. Hold on, is that page 2? And then Vanderhorst, Michael, they've taken out the stump and they planted a little bitty tree. I'm not sure that that's what we wanted to have happen. It was a surprise to me that they took out this big old stump. There's room there to get a lift out, to deploy a lift, because the tree is only 4 inches, but that wasn't exactly what I thought was gonna happen. St. Andrews and Sycamore, the sporadic functioning push to cross button should be included in the county's effort to make that intersection accessible. Faber Street does not have a 5-inch stripe yet. We may not ever get a 5-inch, I may never get anything on Faber Street. East side of King and John. Oh, we looked at the east side of King and John, and that's been tidied up. There's also a corner of Archdale and Market that we had received a complaint about, and all of the ramps have been reworked, which was remarkable, worthy of remark. So continuing in 2025, we will hand out merchant information about ramps and service animals. We will also do that work in the fall, like November, the rolling around under the tutelage of Michael Drohan. And then in 2026, I intend to look at audible pedestrian signals and their maintenance process. Because right now we've got some pedestrian signals that are not being maintained. I'm not sure what the standard is yet, but we'll have to look about that. In 2026, we also want to look about assisted listening services for large rooms like the City Council room and the Dock Street Theater and the theater here. And there might be one more. And we've got to update the parking lots. Every so often we get parking lots spiffed up, but it's been 10 years. They need to be spiffed up again. 2025, to repeat, we are still thinking that we can have all the Bluestone sidewalk relane on Broad Street in 2025. 2026 is when we will have the door openers installed and as many buildings and pools as we can forward. And then 2027, excuse me, please, I would really like the city website to be, for us to have a better presence on the city website. Did I miss any particular thing for anybody that y'all were just dying to have happen?
Janet, were there specific locations for those audible crosswalks?
Well,
because it's not something you would do. I mean, I remember when Mount Pleasant did it, it was for specific reasons for specific people. Has the cost gone down? I mean, I guess that's the question you mentioned. So I didn't know if there were high priority areas.
There are some high priority areas. We've had some people with low vision and blind concerns request that the city do it, number one. And the APS is now part of the requirement, excuse me, for the recently adopted PROAG, public right-of-way accessibility guidelines that were just adopted by the federal government. So it doesn't really call for a retrofit. It does call for the installation when you're putting in new, and it calls for them to be working. So the ones we have need to be fixed. They're just not working well. Other thoughts, y'all?
I was gonna ask about Beast Ferry and 61.
They checked that and they said it was working. I haven't checked it, but county people went out there. Have you been out there since you told me that?
I looked like a month or two after we talked about it, but I haven't looked recently.
Okay,
So I'll look again.
I'm sorry to ask you to look again.
It's okay. I live right there, but I need to just pay more attention to that corner.
Right. Other thoughts? So I feel like we have accomplished a portion. We're underway at any rate.
The boat is moving.
Yes, we're not quite
Slower
sure
than we'd like, but,
where it's going,
and
but
and
it's
by the
moving.
way,
Yes,
I'd like to go on record as saying, don't tell me the city can't afford to put in push button doors.
I'm not gonna tell you that. I'm just telling you, they're not as cheap as I thought they were.
Well,
Each door is at least $5,000. No?
No.
Oh, that was an actual estimate that we received. So We will go forward from that though.
It's probably not that far off.
Really?
Yeah.
The city has a ton of accommodation tax money. Virtually everything that you're asking for on the doors can be done
With the
under
foundation.
accommodation tax money. We really don't need to spend as much as we spend on advertising.
Mhm.
Oh, I see what you're saying. But you know, most of the accommodation tax money, the last time I looked at it, went straight to, oh, sorry, senior moment. Charleston CDB. Okay. So as y'all have any more observations, questions, please let me know. I'm not gonna put it on this year's list because that would push me backwards, but I'll put it on next year's list.
Anybody else have any questions? All right, for announcements, we have ding, 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 the 35th celebration of the signing of the ADA Act. 23rd of July, 4 to 7. We need help from, what time do you want help, Alex?
Will people be there at 1 o'clock
1 o'clock.
on that Wednesday?
So you all can go to lunch somewhere in Park Circle and then head over there at 1 o'clock after lunch. Our next meeting will be July 15th, which is the 3rd Friday of the month, not the 4th Friday of the month. And the meeting will be in the same place, right here at 2 George Street. Anybody have anything else? Hearing nothing, I can give you back 18 minutes of your day if I get a motion to adjourn.
This is Maria, and I'm making a motion to adjourn.
The meeting's
This is Michelle,
adjourned.
I second. All right,
Don't even need a second.
okay.
It's good to have it now.
Have a good weekend, guys.
You
Thank
You
you,
do the
guys.
same.